Oh, first off, I will say I got a lot of respect for Kylie Jenner. A, I think she's a beautiful young lady. B, I'm pretty impressed that she became a billionaire at that young age. But I think that they're using self-made a little frivolously.
Yeah, I mean, with all the excerpts of your daddy mama,
Yeah.
Bruce slash Caitlyn.
That your daddy mama. I didn't even pick up
Daddy,
on that.
yeah, thank you very
it.
much. I appreciate it. I'll take a bow on that.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, extra 5 minutes on a teat for me.
Daddy mama, your daddy mama.
Daddy mama.
Well, yeah, and then you got this bevy of sisters that have been very successful. And your mom is probably the most successful talent manager Hollywood has ever seen.
And who's, well, I guess, Kylie's a Jenner, so Robert Kardashian wouldn't have had anything to had he
No, but she's probably getting a little fall off from that, I would think.
Oh,
I mean, there's
sure.
a little bit of fat falling off that steak for her. But, I mean, how do you feel about that, Tiddy? I mean, they use the term self-made. I mean, when you hear that term and you think about successful people, who comes to mind? Like, what kind of people come?
Self-made? Well, the owner of Dixon Flannel Company actually is one that comes to mind.
Danny Dixon, for sure. If you guys listen to other podcasts besides our, and God, I hope you do, look up $180 in a Dream. That's Danny Dixon's podcast. He puts out episodes on how to succeed at business and at life. And the title of the podcast came from the fact that Danny Dixon used to work for Harley Davidson in a factory. He took literally $180 and had a dream of this flannel company that he has. And now I don't know. I haven't seen any financials. I haven't asked him for his tax records, but I'm willing to say he's a multimillionaire at this point.
Oh yeah, he's got to be at least a 7-figure guy.
Yeah, and that's just a cool success story. I'll tell you who else comes to mind. Jesse James.
Oh yeah,
talking about self-made.
He went from rags to riches to divorce that just about ruined him.
Which one?
Sandra Bullock.
How, you know what? He kind of came out a lot more of a shining star on that deal than I thought he was, because Sandra Bullock's kind of America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
And then he bounced from her to Kat Von D. He married, his wife is the daughter of the dude that owns Patron, isn't she?
Yeah, Alexis DeJoria.
Yeah, and she's a funny car racer.
Yeah, and well, actually, I think she's retired now. But John Paul DeJoria is her dad, and he also is the head of the conglomerate Paul Mitchell beauty product.
Really?
Yeah.
I must be thinking about the A.O.C. hair.
Yeah, but he owns Patron as well.
Paul Mitchell, that's news to me, man.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
He's obviously done some things well in life.
There's a hole you can dive into.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm actually not even asking Donnie to do it. But yeah, I mean, people like that are the people that come to mind when I hear self-made. I mean, people that were, maybe that's it. Maybe they guys that are getting their hands dirty and blue collar guys are the reason I think that. I don't know. I mean,
John Paul DeJoria, he had Paul Mitchell for years, and he
wasn't verified that
he wasn't just happy with that. So he's like, I want to have the world's best tequila.
Which, if you're a tequila drinker, what do you go after?
Well, my wife is a little bit different. She likes extra añejo tequila, which is tequila that's aged in a barrel. Patron makes extra añejo, and
does that have a smoky flavor?
Yeah,
to it?
A little bit of a smoky flavor to it, and you sip it. You don't shoot it or you don't mix it. You sip it because it's so smooth.
That's way too classy for me.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. But even Patron has extra añejo, but a fifth of extra añejo is above $100.
Okay. Compared to $22 for a PBR level wise.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get a fifth of Patron for like $44.95, but the extra añejo is above $100.
Oh, that's a hard one to swallow.
No, it's an easy one to swallow. Trust me.
No pun intended. I bet that is smooth. I bet it's real smooth.
Oh, it's super smooth. Matter of fact, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles of it here. We're ready for Rocklahoma already. So.
Well, there you have it. Donnie's getting his keys like he's leaving to go to your house.
Yeah, I know. A little bit ago, he's kind of like, let's wrap this up, dudes. We have a story to tell, Donnie. Okay? Sit down. Shiner went shopping. That's how we're going to open up this story. Shiner, you take it from shopping. Here.
So this is my shopping excursion. If you guys listen to the podcast, you will understand and know that if I make a visit to usually either the two local Walmart neighborhood markets, I usually come home with some kind of weird story. I mean, the planets always align for some weird stuff to happen to me inside Walmart.
Either that you're helping old people or you're getting in fights, one or the other.
Yeah, there's no in between, man. I'm either doing a good deed or about to go to jail. So I head up there, and my mother, God bless her soul, I love me. If you guys aren't from the South and you haven't had Whataburger, put that on your bucket list because it's an experience you need to have, man. Whataburgers are completely amazing for a fast food.
Best patty melt in a fast food joint ever.
Well, so I go over to Walmart in the front edge of the lot. There is a Whataburger at the one closest to my house. So I'm like, okay, that sounds good. A Whataburger and a vanilla malt, man. That sounds like that'll hit the spot. Donnie, get ready because I'm probably going to end up dropping some in this store. You're going to need to send. So I get my order, and here's the deal: they kind of are between servers and just a fast food counter. So you order your meal at the counter, you grab a seat, they give you a number, and an employee will bring your meal to you and serve it to your table. So I grab a seat and I sit down, waiting on my meal. It's kind of busy in there. And for some reason, like I like to sit in places that I can see the entire joint and as much as the parking lot as I possibly can too. I was sitting in there and I see this Mazda, like an old 323 pull up, and these two individuals get out of it. Now they're probably around my son's age, which is the mid-20s. And I'm not stereotyping anyone. Yeah, I am stereotyping people because one of these jokers has got a pair of red sweatpants on, and they're 2 sizes too big for him, but they're fashionable because they got cargo pockets on. And he's got a t-shirt on. Now he's about 6 feet tall, and he's probably about 150 pounds. He's a little skinny guy, and he's got a t-shirt on that would fit Big Tiddy, and got a ball cap pulled way down over his eyes, and which I'm not talking trash on that. I probably wear my ball cap away. People don't really approve of. But anyway, of all places to sit down, they sit in the booth in front of me. And they haven't been raised right because they're talking real loud. They start throwing a lot of F-bombs out, and I got a problem with that because there's a lot of small children around them, and I don't really agree with that. So I'm getting ready to say something about that when 2 Tulsa police patrol cars pull up in the parking lot and park. And they start having a discussion. Now, these 2 officers get out of their car, and for a moment, they stop in front of their cars, and they're just kind of BSing in the parking lot for a few seconds. One of them grabs his radio, and I assume checking out for his lunch break for the 2 of them. They come in, and while they're walking in the building, this fine young gentleman in the red sweatpants, he starts telling his buddy about, oh, these fucking cops. I'll put a bullet in their face. I'd shoot that cop in the face. He even tries to talk to me. Well, I got an issue with that. Number one, an extremely large percentage of my family have been law enforcement officers. Number 2, these guys are just trying to make a living, and they're trying to be out there keeping us all safe from all the BS that's happening in the world. Now, I'm not saying there's not bad cops, and I don't know if these guys were good cops or bad cops, but they didn't deserve the way this kid was talking about shooting them in the face. So I leaned over my table and said, hey, man, don't talk like that. That's disrespectful, and you don't need to be saying that kind of stuff. Well, he starts mouthing me. So I told him, I said, hey, man, you're going to make a lot of bad decisions today, apparently, but talking to me that way is not one that you need to be making. So about that time, the 2 officers have ordered their meal, and they're looking for a place to sit down. And of all places to sit down in that restaurant, they picked a table that's directly across from this booth these 2 are sitting in. Well, these 2 guys don't know what to do with themselves. Because they know that I've heard everything they're saying. So I let them
how big a spoon did you stir that up with?
I reach in my pocket and get the biggest ladle I can find. And after about 2 minutes of letting them stew on it, I lean out and say to the officer, excuse me, sir? And I told him, I said, thank you for what you do, man. I appreciate that. And he said, hey, it's my pleasure. And talked to him for a second. And then these these two knuckleheads are sitting there looking around like they're wanting to get out of there as quick as they can. And I tell them, I said, hey, man, since you were talking about these two guys standing in the parking lot about how you were going to shoot them in the face, go ahead and explain it to them. You know, you're big enough man to talk that garbage when they're out there in the parking lot. Go ahead and explain to them how you would shoot them in the face given the chance. Like, you don't got a problem with it because they're cops and they deserve to die. Well, these two police officers, they don't get real mouthy. They just said, yeah, I'd like to hear that conversation. Well, I take this as my cue. It's time to exit. I'm like, well, I got grocery shopping to do. So I walk out.
I got a thing with a guy down the road. See you later.
So I walk out. I'm intended on going to Wal Mart. Well, I walk past this Mazda 323, and I just happen to glance at the tag. It's 7 months out of date. I'm like, oh, I bet those police officers probably would like to know that information. So I walk back into Whataburger. It just so happens one of these officers is walking out of the men's restroom, and I catch him in the foyer. I said, hey, if you guys are wondering, when these knuckleheads leave, they got a tag that's 7 months out of date. And he starts smiling ear to ear, and he said, appreciate that. I said, you bet. So I head on over to Walmart. By the time I get to Walmart, I look back. These two knuckleheads in the 323 have pulled out. And as soon as they hit the city streets, the surface streets, both of those patrol cars light their lights up and pull them over. Well, I'm thinking, okay, well, my good deed's done for the day. And I don't believe in snitching on people, but I damn sure don't like people talking about shooting police officers.
No.
So, that's over a line. So I'm kind of smiling to myself like, well, I did my good deed for the day. Now I enter Walmart. I start doing my shopping with my basket. First person I encounter is a gentleman, and I'm just going to say this. It has nothing to do with the story. Kinda. He's a black gentleman. He's a black gentleman, and he's with his wife or girlfriend or side piece, somebody, and they're looking for lunch meat. Well, I reach in to get lunch meat out of this cooler, and he's kind of in front of the door. So as I reach, I'm thinking, okay, well, he'll step back. No, he doesn't. I go to open the door, and he just stands there. So I said, hey, man, excuse me, bud. I'm trying to get in there and get some meat. And as I get the meat and I'm letting the door close, I hear him under breath talk about, you white boy motherfucker. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna address this. Like, okay, well, the next 45 minutes of my entire shopping trip, I encounter nothing but one person after another who has no manners, and on top of that, want to talk a lot of smack to me anytime I'm around them. I can't figure it out. Now, I learned later from my mother, this is on the first of the month, and apparently everybody got SNAP benefits on the first of the month this month. So
yes.
They're all in there spending money, which I don't have a problem with. I do have a problem with rude people being rude to me and being completely over the line. So by the time I get in line to pay for my stuff at the cashier, I'm not in a very good mood. I'm kind of on edge.
Oh man, so, I would think white privilege would make you not be on edge.
I was hoping it'd pay off for me, but it didn't.
Jesus. So
I step up behind this older lady, and it's so busy, the lines are spilling out into the lanes. So the path that crosses the lanes in the front of the store is being blocked by a lot of shoppers. So I step up kind of close to this lady, and she explains to me that this gentleman to her left, who's in one of those motorized cap carts, was actually behind her in line. So I look down at him, and he is giving me this stare like he has got the biggest problem with me. And I said, hey, buddy, I'm not trying to take your spot. I get it. I'm just trying to stay out of the lane of people moving through here. You're still got your spot. It's safe. And he mumbles something under his breath instead of, things being cool with this. And I'm like, man, I've about had it with this rudeness. Well, when the older lady gets done paying for her stuff and it's his turn, out of nowhere on another mechanical motorized cart, this girl comes flying in from nowhere. It's like Jeff Gordon just drifted around the turn number 4 at Daytona. She slides in there and starts putting her stuff on the conveyor belt. And now I've had it now. Now I said, whoa. This ain't the trailer park, hon. You are no kind of royalty in here. Back of the line.
Oh, well.
I don't know till probably halfway through this sentence. She's obviously related to this guy in this other handicap cart.
Oh no.
He jumps up out of this cart ready to fight and says, "What did you say to my daughter?" I'm like,